everybody, welcome back to This Old Nerd. I am This Old Nerd, Ayaz Akhtar, and this show is all about having the most tech-forward life and home as possible. Life doesn't give you a lot of time, so these projects are meant to be done in a relatively short amount of time. So this apartment, it's new, we've been here since April, and there's all kinds of things that are different about this. And in this one, there's a ceiling fan. Take a look. See that? That's a ceiling fan. Yay. Fantastic. See what I did there? Okay, so as I'm the cameraman as well. So this ceiling fan doesn't have those little pull strings. It uses a remote to operate it, which is located on the wall behind me. This is the remote for it. And I'm like, hey, wait a second. If there's a remote for that fan, there's a chance I can control it without the remote, because I don't want to lose this thing. I don't know how much a replacement costs because it's from Hunter, and Hunter is fancy. I don't know if Hunter's fancy. I've never had a ceiling fan before, but this is the remote that came with it. So I figured, hey, you're this old nerd, right? How on earth are you going to control this? So I started looking at the remote and like, those are stickers. I don't see any spot for IR. It's shiny though, it's nice. Then I looked at the back and it said frequency, and then frequency in other languages, and it said 434 megahertz. I don't know if that'll show up there, but I'll try to show it to you. It's reflective, it's hard to see, but it does say 434 megahertz. And I thought, hey, that's an RF signal, meaning that this fan is controlled without line of sight. It uses radio frequency. So that means I can cover up spots, I can have this under a blanket, and it's gonna work. So I'm gonna pop this back on the wall. So I needed to find a way to control that fan using my smart home, because there's no way on earth I'm gonna grab that remote every single time, because if I lose it, I'm not gonna be happy. And then people will also ask me, hey, Ayaz, where's the remote? And I'm like, I don't know. And that drives me bonkers. So I tried to figure a solution. First, I tried the Harmony remote, and I thought, hey, this will work. It works with everything, right? Did not work the way I wanted it to. It was kind of, let's just say, messy, okay? If you got it to work with the Harmony remote, let me know. What I wound up doing was getting something called the Bond Bridge. Take a look at this device. It's 4 inches in circumference. Massive. No, it's really tiny. And the thing uses RF and has IR blasters, and it's literally meant to control ceiling fans, smart blinds, and I believe fireplaces. I don't have a remote controlled fireplace, but if I wanted to control it, I could do it with the Bond Bridge. Now, the Bond Bridge costs around $100 brand new. Now, I didn't feel like buying a brand new, so I got it used from Bond around 60 bucks or so. Figured, hey, if it works, it's great. If it doesn't, I'll just return it. So let's talk about how to set up the Bond Bridge. All right, since this is a smart home device, guess what? It's operated by an app for your phone or tablet. You get Bond Home, available in the Play Store and on iOS. Pretty simple app. I'm gonna open it up. And you can see that I've set up a couple of devices already. We've got the living room AC ceiling fan, master bedroom ceiling fan, and my Bonds. I've named it Scorpio because I like that episode of The Simpsons. So now I'm gonna show you how to set up one of the remotes to work with your Bond Bridge. I suggest having the remote you need at the ready. So we're just gonna hit plus. We're gonna add remote. We're gonna choose which Bond Bridge is going to record the remote. We're gonna say ceiling fan. We're gonna name this. We'll call this ceiling fan Ringo. Hit continue. Here you can select the command you want to record. So for the fan, we're just gonna hit the power toggle on that. You can take the remote and bring it near the bridge and try to record that. I like to go to the advanced settings. Make sure that the signal type is set to radio frequency. On the back of the remote, it says it's on the 434 megahertz frequency, so we're gonna add that in, 434. This is an apartment building, so there's a lot of RF and lots of wireless signals going on, and I don't want that thing recording the wrong stuff. Gonna hit OK, hit save. Repeatedly press the button on your remote till the Bond Bridge goes green. I'll bring it right near it. It flashed green right there. I don't know if you saw that. It flashed green, that means it's been recorded. These are the remotes that match your signal. Test them and select the best fit. See 3 speeds. Yes, my fan's got 3 speeds. Test the commands by tapping the buttons below. You'll have a chance to delete any unneeded controls later. So we're gonna show the fan and how it responds. All right, there's a ceiling fan. I'm gonna hit speed 1. And that's definitely slowing down. I'm gonna hit speed 2. Speed 3. Definitely speeding up. That was pretty simple. The Bond Bridge also works with a number of smart home environments. If you go to your settings and then manage integrations, you can see you can work with Amazon, Google, or SmartThings, actually all three at the same time if you want. Then you can go to Google Home. If I go to my living room, you can see that ceiling fan is an option right now. I can actually turn on or off the ceiling fan. And now it's turning off the ceiling fan. That's pretty neat. I'll turn it back on. Now, while the Google Home interface doesn't have the speed for the ceiling fans, the thing is, if you tell Google Assistant you want a certain speed, it will actually do that for you. Now, one of the things about the Bond app is it might not know if you've decided to use the remote to control the fan. So if you decide to turn off the fan using the remote, the Bond Bridge may still show you something like this, where it's set to speed 3. That might not be correct, but that's what it thinks. So let's talk about the partner acceptance rating, although not so close. Although it's a cool shot. Let's move back. All right. Partner acceptance rating. That's right, I'm way low in the shot. Partner acceptance rating is making sure that your partner, your husband, your wife, your kids, your dogs, whoever lives with you is accepting the technology you're bringing in. Because if you bring in technology that makes their life worse, what did you do? You know what you did? You made sure that any other idea you have about, let me add this to the house, let me add that to the house, that ain't gonna happen, pal. You wanna make sure that the tech you bring in makes everything easier. So, here's what happened with the Bond Bridge. The thing that's really important about the Bond Bridge is that it does not replace the remote that you have. This remote over here still works fine. It can be located on the wall plate back there. That's great. The Bond Bridge is merely additive. So far, my wife is just fine with having the Bond Bridge because she can call out to Google, hey, set fan speed to whatever, and it will actually work. There's no need to get up and find the remote or any of that. On top of that, if we want to automate it, now the Bond Bridge does have a scheduler built in. So if we want this thing to turn off at night, save some money, we can do that and have it turn back on at like 5 in the morning before we all get up to have some air circulation. We can do that too. That is a nice bonus of the Bond Bridge. So the partner acceptance rating, get back on the wall. The partner acceptance rating is quite high because, like I said, this is additive, not replacing. So I highly suggest getting one of these devices if you have RF controlled ceiling fans. If you have IR based devices, it does work too. It's a little bit different. I'll show you how that works, but that needs line of sight. RF doesn't. In our apartment, by the way, we only needed one bridge to control 2 ceiling fans. So the cost of the bridge doesn't seem as bad. It's not like I need 1 per room. That'd be too much. This was a success. Now, you may have noticed that on my Bond app that I have a section for my air conditioner. Now, my air conditioner is not smart. It's a standard Frigidaire AC that uses an IR remote. Now, you can teach the Bond Bridge the actual inputs. In this particular case, I programmed the air conditioner as a ceiling fan. So the buttons on the app doesn't exactly match up with the buttons on the remote, but that doesn't really bother me. There's not a lot of people using this part of the app, but it does bring that AC into the smart home, which is really neat. However, the AC, while on the smart home, is being controlled by an IR signal through the bridge, so the bridge needs to be nearby, or at least in line of sight of the air conditioner for that to work. It's not going to be able to control stuff that's far away into the other bedroom. But since it's RF, like I said, it'll control both this ceiling fan and the other one in the bedroom without line of sight. Hey, I want to do something. I want to thank you for watching this episode because this little problem solver has made a world of difference in my home, and I hope that this episode has helped you solve a problem. If it hasn't, or you have other ideas, let me know in the comments. If you're like, hey, I am too embarrassed to be in the comments because I don't know why I'm talking so loudly, but I don't want to be in the comments. I don't want everybody to see what I'm thinking. You can always DM me on Twitter. Those are open. Go ahead. I'm at Iyaz over there. And if you're thinking, hey, Iyaz, I can never repay you enough for this. I want to thank you for this episode. Well, you can do that. You can do that on patreon.com/IYAZ. Right there, you can support this show and others. Tell you what you get. You get video credits, early access, and a thank you from me. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much to these patrons who have supported this show. I have been this old nerd, Iyaz Akhtar, asking you, how's your tech life? Because it could be better. You know what's chapping me? You know what's really irritating me, pal? You know what? This apartment is nice. I like it, okay? It's got a nice layout and everything, but it's not designed to shoot in. It's like people live here instead of like having cameras everywhere. We have like no light trusses up. I mean, what kind of life is that? I mean, how are you supposed to live like that? I mean, what's up with that?